5 smarter Japanese study techniques. You spend hours grinding through books, but after just one day, 70% of the knowledge you learn has vanished. Frustrating, isn't it? But don't rush to blame yourself. This isn't your fault. The human brain is programmed to eliminate unused information, much like a computer automatically clearing its memory. So how can Japanese students memorize over 2,000 kanji characters and retain them for a lifetime? You might think it's because they study hard or wrong. It's because they study smarter. The truth is, traditional study methods like rereading, taking notes, highlighting, and murmuring line by line only make your brain treat them as background noise. Like skipping an ad on YouTube. Your brain doesn't bother storing it. Try to recall the last time you spent an entire night cramming, highlighting every page just to prepare for an exam, and in the end, your brain felt empty. What was the reason? In science, there's something called the forgetting curve, and it's the hidden enemy of memory. Within 24 hours of studying, most of the information you learned will be forgotten. After 3 days, only a few tiny fragments remain. Fortunately, there's a way to break free from this cycle. Japanese students have been doing it for centuries, not by studying more, but by studying correctly. And the good news is, you don't have to read hundreds of pages of scientific research to understand this, because I've done that for you. Below are 5 top-tier study techniques proven by science to help you remember longer, learn faster, without having to bury yourself in books all day. Are you ready? Let's dive in now. 1. Active recall. Train your memory like a samurai. Most people are studying the wrong way. We passively reread textbooks, highlight, take notes, and think we are absorbing knowledge. But the truth is, the brain only treats it as background information and quickly pushes it aside. If you want long-term memory, you must force your brain to actively work. Japanese students don't just receive information. They force the brain to constantly retrieve it, much like a samurai training with a sword. Every time they draw and swing the sword, their muscles become sharper. Memory works in a similar way. The mechanism of active recall is very simple. Every time you try to recall information, without looking at the book, you are strengthening the neural pathway in your brain. Initially, this will be extremely difficult. You may even feel frustrated because you can't recall it. But this struggle is the key to remembering longer. How to apply? First, close your book. Next, take out a blank sheet of paper. Then, write down everything you remember about the topic you just studied. No need for completeness, no need for perfect organization. Just force your brain to search for the information. After that, open your book and check what you recalled incorrectly or missed. Repeat this process multiple times and you will see your memory strengthen day by day. 2. Cumin. Learn in small steps. Imagine you are trying to climb a high mountain. If you try to run straight to the peak, you will be exhausted before you get halfway. But if you divide the journey into small stages and take appropriate breaks, you will reach the destination more easily. Learning is similar. Many people think that being a good student means having to grind for hours, cramming a lot of knowledge in a short time. But that is a formula leading to burnout and forgetting everything. Meanwhile, Japanese students apply a different method called cumin, learning in small, but regular steps every day. This method operates on a simple but extremely effective principle, breaking down knowledge into easy-to-absorb parts. Then, study and review them daily. Instead of cramming the entire book in one night, they study a small amount, but repeat it until they understand it deeply. Researcher James Clear, the author of the famous book Atomic Habits, also emphasizes this. 1% improvement every day will lead to a colossal change over time. How to apply every day. Set a small learning goal, 1 chapter, 1 exercise, or 1 group of vocabulary. Make sure it is small enough that you can complete it without feeling overwhelmed. Then, the next day, before continuing to a new lesson, spend a little time reviewing what you learned the previous day. By learning slowly but surely, you not only remember better but also avoid the state of cramming and then forgetting. 3. Spaced repetition. Review at the right time. If you water a plant too much in one day, and then neglect it for a week, the plant will wither. But if you water it at the right time with the right amount, the plant will grow strong. Your memory works in a similar way. Many people have the habit of reviewing by cramming at the last minute, rereading entire chapters right before an exam, and doing dozens of exercises in just one night. But this is a big mistake. Cramming makes you forget faster. In contrast, Japanese students use a technique called spaced repetition, or reviewing at intervals, which helps them memorize information long-term without having to study too much. The principle of spaced repetition is very simple. Instead of reviewing everything in one day, You distribute the review sessions at critical moments, right before your brain is about to forget that information. Studies have shown that if you review a piece of information after 24 hours, then 3 days, 1 week, and 1 month, you will retain it in your long-term memory. How to apply? Use apps like Anki or Quizlet to automatically schedule the optimal review time. Or create your own review schedule. Learn new content today. Then review tomorrow. Then 3 days later. Then 1 week later. The most important thing is not to wait until you've completely forgotten before reviewing. Review when you still remember a part. That is when the brain is most strongly stimulated to store information long-term. 4. Kaizen, continuous 1% improvement. Daily success doesn't come from giant leaps, but from tiny improvements every day. This is the principle of Kaizen, a Japanese philosophy for learning and working that focuses on continuous progress through small, but sustainable steps. Sudden changes often do not last. You might study intensely for a week, but then lose motivation and revert to old habits. Conversely, the Japanese believe in gradual progress. If every day you just get 1% better at studying, after a month you will have improved by nearly 30%, and after a year, the change will become astonishing. How to apply 6 minutes daily. You only need 6 minutes every day to 2 minutes for active recall self-testing. Your memory by writing down what you've learned. To minutes for spaced repetition, reviewing important content at the right time. To minutes for deliberate practice, doing practical exercises on what you've learned. With just 6 minutes every day, you will create continuous improvement without feeling overwhelmed. Remember that success is not about speed. It's about persistence. 5. Zanshin, the art of maximum focus. Have you ever sat down to study, but after just a few minutes, picked up your phone to check a message or let your mind drift off to random thoughts? It's not that you lack determination or have poor focus. It's because you haven't truly entered the state of deep concentration. The Japanese have a concept called Zanshin, originating from the world of the samurai. This is a state of complete awareness, absolute focus on the present moment. In studying, Zanshin is the ability to eliminate distractions and completely immerse yourself in the lesson. How to apply? Fixed study space. You need a fixed study space, a place dedicated only to studying. Study ritual. Establishing a study ritual is also very important. It could be a small action like lighting a candle, listening to gentle music, or using a familiar pen before starting to study. Eliminate distractions. You need to completely eliminate any distractions. Put your phone on silent or place it out of reach. Use apps that block distracting content throughout your study time. Focus on the process. Focus on the process instead of the pressure of the outcome. When you truly enjoy every moment of studying, absorbing knowledge becomes easier. Conclusion: you can continue studying the old way and forget most of what you've learned. Or you can make a change today. The Japanese don't study more. They study smarter. Active recall to remember long-term. Human to progress step by step. Space repetition to review at the right time. Kaizen to improve every day. And Zanshin to focus completely. Success comes from action, not thought. The question now is, do you dare to begin?